Hey, do you ever wonder what makes someone truly happy? Not the smiling for the camera type happy, not the kind of happiness that we're sold in ads or filtered through social media. I mean the deep kind, the kind of happiness that lasts longer than a vacation, longer than a like button or a dopamine hit. It's the happiness that we all want. Where does it come from? Let's look at that through science, philosophy, spirit, and let's cut through the noise that we've all been taught to believe. From a scientific perspective, happiness isn't just a warm, fuzzy feeling. It's actually a measurable experience, often studied under the umbrella term of subjective well-being. That includes not just how good you feel at the moment, but how satisfied you are with your life overall. Researchers use surveys, biological markers, long-term studies to track it. So yes, science takes happiness seriously. Psychologists, they break it down into two parts. Hedonic happiness, the feel-good kind, which is based on pleasure, comfort, enjoyment. Then there's the eudaimonic happiness, the deeper kind, that's based on meaning, growth, purpose. You would have experienced both, but the second one, that lasts longer. Here's what the data shows. Close relationships are so important, not just romantic ones, but friendships, community, family. They are the strongest predictors of long-term well-being, aka happiness. The conclusion of the Harvard Study of Adult Development, which is one of the longest running studies in the world, they followed people for decades and found those who felt securely connected with people were not only happier, they also lived longer and stayed mentally sharper. So while happiness itself is really complex, connection is the powerful foundation for it. Purpose is another major factor. Having a reason to get up in the morning, a sense that your life matters, is linked to lower rates of depression and anxiety, and higher levels of resilience and satisfaction. Gratitude and mindfulness. These don't just feel good. They're not a new age cliche. They physically change your brain. Practicing gratitude boosts serotonin and dopamine. Mindfulness, being aware of what you're doing, it lowers activity in your amygdala, which is the brain's fear center, and it strengthens your prefrontal cortex in your brain, which helps with regulation, calm, and focus. This is real and tangible, and we've only been able to measure it in the last few decades after the MRI and fMRI brain scan technology became available. Two more important factors: generosity and movement. Helping others releases endorphins. Doing something, moving your body, can boost your mood more effectively than a sugar rush or a doom scrolling session. Now, all these things are great and they are proven to work to build happiness, but they don't erase the hard days. They don't promise constant positivity. What they give us is a way for us to bounce back, to stay grounded, to feel life still has meaning even when it's messy. And here's where things get even more interesting. Every year, researchers publish a global ranking called the World Happiness Report. It's not just a popularity contest between countries. It's based on data, emotional well-being, life satisfaction, social support, and other factors. The top spots almost always go to countries like Finland, Denmark, Iceland, New Zealand. They're not the richest countries in the world. They're not the most powerful, but their people report feeling more connected, more supported, more free. This is what they have in common: strong social bonds, trust in each other and in their institutions, work-life balance, time in nature, freedom to choose how they live. So when we ask what makes people happy, the global data says it's not wealth, it's not fame, it's trust, belonging, the freedom to be human. But that's not what we see around us, right? For decades, maybe centuries, we've been sold a very different story about happiness, one that comes with a price tag. You know the script. Be attractive, be productive, be admired, make money, collect achievements, build a perfect life that looks good on the outside. That version of happiness is always just out of reach. It's like it whispers in your ear. Once you lose 10 pounds, once you get that promotion, once you've got enough money, once you're in a relationship, once you retire. But that once never comes. Or when it does, it just doesn't deliver on its forever happy promise. Because the system that creates that sells us that lie, depends on us having a lack of happiness to keep going. If you felt worthy already, then you just wouldn't need to be sold anything. You wouldn't buy that next product, that next fix, that next upgrade. Consumer culture thrives on the idea that happiness is something we buy, earn, or have to hustle toward. The real research shows that happiness is not that. It's not constant pleasure. Constant pleasure is overstimulation. It leads to burnout. Happiness is not perfection. That's control, and it leads to anxiety. Happiness is not external validation. That's dependence, and it leads to insecurity. Happiness isn't something you perform. It's not found in comparing with others or getting applause or having a 5-star life. Happiness is much quieter than that. I think you know it. It's more honest than that. And it doesn't need to be posted for it to be real. Philosophers have been chasing this question for thousands of years, and not all of them agreed on the answer. Plato believed happiness came from living a life of virtue, aligning your soul with eternal truths. Aristotle said it was about eudaimonia, human flourishing through reason, purpose, and moral excellence. Then the Stoics argued that happiness comes not from external things, but from mastering your internal world. Then there's modern thinkers. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, wrote, "Happiness cannot be pursued, it must ensue, as the unintended side effect of one's personal dedication to a cause greater than oneself." What they all have in common is that you don't chase happiness. You live with intention, and then happiness shows up like a quiet companion. I love that. Think about that. Happiness can be my friend. Philosophy says happiness isn't a goal. It's a result of living wisely, authentically, aka honestly, and aligned with something deeper than just whatever you're craving next. But we can go a bit deeper still, beyond the chemicals, beyond the reasoning mind. Let's talk about spirit. Every major spiritual tradition offers its own wisdom on joy and peace and happiness, not the kind that depends on external circumstances, like getting that thing, but the kind that can exist even in suffering. In Christianity, joy is a fruit of the Spirit, not something that flows from what you get, but from what you trust. It's about grace, redemption, love that doesn't need to be earned. In Buddhism, happiness arises when we release attachments to ego, to desire, to control. It teaches that suffering comes from clinging onto things, and peace comes from letting go. In indigenous wisdom, happiness is often found in harmony with nature, with ancestors, with sacred rhythms of the land. Spiritual happiness isn't just a feeling, it's a remembering that you are more than your body alone. You are more than your to-do list. You are more than the pain you've carried your life. It's not about rising above life, but walking through it with open eyes and an open heart. So what makes someone truly happy? Science says connection, purpose, presence, and resilience. Philosophy says virtue, authenticity, and meaning. Spirit says letting go, trusting, love, and respect. And society? Well, society says keep chasing that shiny thing. But maybe it's time we stopped chasing and started living. True happiness isn't the loudest thing in the room. It's not the trend or the flex. It's not the perfectly curated life. It's the quiet, knowing in you that you are living in alignment with what matters for you. Even when life hurts, you're still growing, still connected, still whole. You don't have to find happiness. You're allowed to build it. And more than that, you're allowed to feel it right here, right now. You can feel it. And you know, you'd make me really happy by connecting with me, putting a comment below so we can chat, joining my email list so we can share ideas. That's a connection that makes me happy. I hope it might make you happy. And if you want more talks that might make you wonder, click this next video and I'll see you there. Thanks for being here.